are going to open up the floor. Please direct your questions to the individuals that you see, or if you wanted the panelists to address a question as a group as well, let them know, because then each of them will know to speak to a question asked as a collective. And also try to take any Twitter questions out there in cyber world as well. And the responses will keep to about 2 minutes, so we'll try to get as much as we can in the next 15. But as well, please go up to any of them at any time in the next 2 days and berate them. So please, I've already asked my staff that they have to ask questions if nobody else is. 2 of them were on the screen as well, which is nice to see.
Test. Oh, thank you. My name is Jane, and my question goes because I have heard a lot of consultation on newcomers' needs, as well as assessment of newcomers' needs. I'm just wondering if there's any consultation or assessment on newcomers' assets or strengths. And my question is to all of you. Thank you.
So we'll start with you, Diane, since you haven't spoken in a while.
Yeah. Thanks for that question. Obviously, that's a very interesting one. Obviously, from my perspective anyway, those of you who are on the ground, who are on, the face to the newcomers, are doing those assessments and are, hopefully referring clients to the appropriate organizations, or even to the, your own organization to match their skills and their assets, with employment or whatever it is that they need. So I'm not sure if that answers your question or if that's what you were looking for, but there isn't a broad assessment that I'm aware of, at least, on the immigrant population, other than perhaps by particular class, and when we set up the categories as to what we're particularly looking for in the economic class and that kind of thing, which is inherent in the policy direction.
Yes, I would agree. There's not a particular survey, so to speak, but certainly we shamelessly steal from all of you all the time, wonderful new programs. So if there's something out there that you have ideas for, but as Diane said, my focus personally in Ottawa is looking more at the streams and are there tweaks that need to be changed there, and that's why I've also been focusing on pre-arrival services, because we did find that there were some shortcomings in what people were receiving before they arrived. So we were trying to do a bit more of what the needs are prior to arrival, both for social and economic integration. But again, as Diane said, we really are looking out to the audience to let us know what's still missing.
Yeah, just to follow up on that too, I think Natasha and I were thinking about the same thing, because I think when we talk about assessment of needs, I think it's before and after as well. Before they come over here is what are some of the needs that are required for them, and also to manage the expectation in the beginning. And then when they do arrive is to do that proper assessment. And I know that, throughout some of the organizations out there, they are doing, the assessment of the needs of immigrants, but obviously a one-time needs assessment is not enough. I think that we wanted to ensure that when an individual goes through that process of settlement integration, it's important to continue to do the assessment to ensure that that person is going to be able to reach his or her full potential. Because when you first arrive, there's certain needs that you have to meet, but there are different types of needs that you also need to look at during the pathways that you're becoming a Canadian citizen as well.
Yeah, obviously, municipalities don't have the capacity to do assessment of what the assets are, but I think intuitively they know, and even some of the smallest communities may be most acutely aware, because they're the ones who are crying out for nurses, for professionals, and get very frustrated when they see a newcomer come to their community with skills that they're not able to put to use because of the barriers that are placed in their way. And just last week, actually, Buck Buchanan, who's here from Red Deer, and I were at a session with the federal government and definitely raised that it's such a shame when people who have expertise, that have incredible experience from their home countries come over here and end up doing jobs that are far beneath their expertise. And it's just a huge waste of human potential and really hurts both the newcomers and the communities for which they could contribute so much more.
Thank you. And if I could ask, just if you could quickly introduce yourself when you ask your questions, so we can get to know each other a bit better too.
Good morning. Great panel. Really appreciate it. My only regret is there's not more municipality elected people here, because it's great. Just a comment. You mentioned Citizenship Court is an identifier of secondary migration. It's one of the best things that can happen in a community, and it's one of those things that doesn't cost a lot. It only took us a year and a half to convince them to come to Brooks. But for those people to get their citizenship in the communities they're living in, for their friends and relatives to come, their employers, that really is an integration. So if you're not in a major city where you don't have that, my suggestion is you fight to get that in your community, because it is immigration and it is a great event for your community. We had one recently, the largest one in southern Alberta, 130 people in it, 37 different countries in that one. We've had as many as 57 different countries in a citizenship court, and it's a great community event. So kudos for you monitoring the secondary migration, but if you don't have it, it's my opinion, get it in your community, and it really works.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor of Brooks. Yeah, thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna check, is there anything coming in from the web or from Twitter? No? Okay.
Thank you. My name is Mr. Luque Tampindo. I'm the Executive Director of the French organization Alliance Jeunesse Famille de l'Alberta Society. My question is addressing to Rachel. Rachel, I would like to know if you have an idea how many of your members are members of the Canadian Coalition of Municipality Against Racism and Discrimination.
That is an excellent question, and I believe there are now 17 of our municipalities are a member of CMART, and actually Red Deer, Diane and Buck are here from Red Deer, is the newest member to that. And actually, I think Grand Prairie just recently joined as well, so we might even be up. I will say though, although 18 out of 272 doesn't seem like a great number, like these are the major centers, the Brooks, the Medicine Hat, or the Red Deers, the Edmontons, the Calgarys, the Grand Prairies, where people are coming to. And many of our other members may not be signing on to CMARD, but really have welcoming, inclusive community committees or initiatives. And there's this thread in Alberta sometimes that don't like to sign up to, you know, UN things and bureaucracy, and we're gonna go our own way. So I wouldn't take being signed up to CMART or not as being an indication of commitment to some of this work, but certainly we do appreciate that Alberta, out of all the provinces, has some of the most municipalities who are signed up to CMART. And actually AUMA and the Human Rights Commission were receiving award from the Canadian Race Relations Foundation in November in Ottawa for our work in WIC, and our municipality, and we're really receiving it on behalf of our municipalities that have been doing great work in this area.
My name's Diane Weichus. I'm a city.
Oh, pardon me?
The member who signed the coalition, do you have an action plan?
Yeah, many of our members do, but even some of our members who aren't a member of CMARD have an action plan that has to do with WIC. I would give Provost as an example of a smaller municipality that, despite not being a member of CMARD, has engaged with our initiative to develop an action plan because, unfortunately, racist incidents happened there in the past, and they wanted to respond to that and more proactively prevent that in the future. So unfortunately, I don't have a really good number of exactly how many municipalities have action plans, but certainly, we've in the past several years, we've done action planning workshops with well over 20 municipalities around the province, some who are doing it individually, and many like in the Cold Lake area and little villages like Strome and Sedgwick are working together to do that.
Okay, we have a question in the back.
My name is Diane Weinches. I'm a city councillor with the City of Red Deer. Thank you for your presentation. The panel talked about capacity for organizations and communities. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about regional opportunities. We talk about regionalization as municipalities, but in terms of some of the work that we can do in settlement and immigration, what are those opportunities for regional collaboration with each other in this work?
I think that's a question to the whole panel. So who would like to start? Alice, you look like you. No.
Thanks, Jennifer. In terms of regionalization of collaboration and whatnot, we certainly are looking at different types of partnerships and the importance of collaborating with different areas, because when we talk about our immigration policy, I think that it's important to sort of look at, what those opportunities are out there, or I should put it, the missed opportunities out there. So definitely, we need to look more closely at, where the gaps and the priorities are, and then looking at how those gaps and priorities also align within the mandate of our ministry. And also, if it doesn't fit within the mandate of our own ministry, I think that we have, different government partners with us within our GOA that, we can be connecting with different ministries to be looking at that as well.
Dan?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question, and I'll use it to shamelessly plug lips. So really, our local immigration partnerships are an opportunity for all levels of government and private sector, mainstream institutions to get together to talk about integration in their communities. I mean, the intention behind this is that it is a cooperative and collaborative effort. And at the end of the day, it's not the federal government or necessarily the provincial government that's got all the answers. It's people in the communities that can come up with how to best integrate newcomers and what the barriers are in their individual communities. So to me, it's probably, from my perspective, one of the best opportunities for partnership out there, regionally, for sure. And as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we're looking for more and more partnerships of that kind to actually get them going. It requires some leadership, for sure. So we do fund a coordinator for those partnerships. But it does require leadership from within the community. And I want to stress again, it's not federal government leading this, it's the community that has to lead. So we really want to see communities step up to the plate on what the opportunities are to collaborate.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I think regionalization is the only way forward, because for a newcomer, they may work, as I said, in a rural municipality, live in another one, and they don't care whose jurisdiction is what. They just need services and want to be part of a community which doesn't necessarily conform to municipal boundaries. And we're really lucky in Alberta to have already some existing really great examples of regional collaboration. For example, the Cold Lake, Bonnyville, and there's one other FCSS from up in that area who are working collaboratively on developing a comprehensive immigration plan. There's the tiny municipalities within the rural municipality of Flagstaff County who are, I think there's about 5 of them, the smallest of which has a population of 200 people. Well, they can't do that alone, so they're working collaboratively. There's a local immigration partnership with Bow Valley, the Bow Valley Local Immigration Partnership with Canmore and Kananaskis and Lake Louise. And of course, actually AUMA just gave an award to the Newell Expo Society, which is a partnership between the City of Brooks and the County of Newell to partner on this work. So we've got some great examples, and it's just a matter of building and expanding on those regional initiatives.
Natasha, give you a chance to add something.
Yes, thanks. I just wanted to add a bit about partnerships in terms of actually piloting some projects. And when I talk about that, in what we're trying now is we're all very familiar with the $5 million 3-year projects that are very long and cumbersome, and you can't really change things as you're doing as you're going through that. So we're actually focusing on new pilots now that are maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. And a lot of our pieces are $1,000, $5,000. So we've certainly been looking at things like virtual career fairs. Now, this is something that different municipalities could partner together, or different regions could partner together very easily, because it's not an expensive initiative. It's all done virtually online. So working with the immigrant serving organizations that maybe have computers available, or libraries, local libraries that have computers available, it's very easy to get people that they can go on. They can actually talk to an employer online. They can provide their resume. They can even do a job interview. And this has been done very successfully and doesn't take a lot of money. So again, just these kinds of very pragmatic pilots that some jurisdictions can get together, some municipalities that are in close proximity could get together. Alternative career fairs is another one where it's almost like a job fair where we bring people together, but it's to get people that are in regulated occupations, the doctors that come to Canada that will never be doctors, but they could be pharmaceutical representatives, or they could be pharmaceutical researchers. So this gets employers in the related field together with some newcomers, and for many newcomers, this is the first time they've ever thought about it. So again, I think there's a lot of opportunities for some really great little pilots out there that people could jointly do together.
That's all the time we have for questions, because he's lingering beside me. But I'm just going to finish off with my 10-minute closing. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, thank you everybody for your attention and engagement with this panel. And on behalf of John's closing, thank you.